Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Grace Evangelical Baptist Church Conscious Book Club. We're here continuing our discussion on 9 Insights for a Happy and Successful Life, written by Dr. Mitchell Gibson. And today we have come to insight number 7. When dreams happen, when dreams speak to you, listen carefully. So we're going to talk about dreams tonight. We're going to talk about dreams. And so it is said that we sleep about 1/3 of our life. If we live 80 years, 1/3 of that time is spent dreaming and sleeping. It goes on to say that 8 hours of that 80 years is sleep. 10 hours of that, or two hours of that sleep, of that dream state is dreaming. And so that's a lot of time sleeping and dreaming. And so we're talking about sleep matters and dream communication. Right. So the insight is, when dreams speak, listen. Wow. So let's get started and let's talk about this, because according to the book, a lot of famous people made significant insights and discoveries when they were asleep in a dream. So offhand, how did any of you respond? How did this chapter? Because this is really more esoteric in its nature. Dreams are mysterious, and just beyond the biological need to sleep and to dream for regenerative purposes, for restorative purposes and healing. What I found more so is the way in which what he calls the unconscious realm, or the universal unconscious realm, how we communicate with this type of spiritual or hyperspace realm of activity, and it actually gives you guidance for your waking life. Now that to me was really interesting. So let's talk about that. How do you feel about this whole concept about getting communications from your dreams? That a little bit too much for you? It's kind of way out there for you? What are your specific feelings about insight number 7? Listening to your dreams.
Well, I mean, it's obviously very, very important that we do that. I think that when you go to sleep, it's a part of you that's very, very aware and conscious, and you dream of something, and you can wake up and when you look at it, if especially if you start writing your dreams down, and I think we'll get into that a little bit later.
Right.
You can actually see. I mean, it's like we say in black and white. That it's very, very relevant.
Have you ever had an experience where he talks about other people talk about, like Madam C.J. Walker, Albert Einstein? Have you personally ever had a dream, and actually it was prophetic or revelatory? Gave you like a preview of something that you actually experienced in space-time. Has that ever happened to you?
Yes.
It has?
Yes, it has. I mean, just on a small level, I can, without going too deep, but I have lost things before, and had no idea where they were.
You mean like objects, physical objects?
Physical objects, yeah. I had no idea where they were. And I have went to sleep and dreamed that I found it, and woke up and went to that spot, and there it was. Now that's, to me, when it happened to me, I was like, this is off the charts here.
It is off the charts.
Because I went to sleep and dreamed about me finding the item, and I would go in that spot, and the item would be there. And I'm not saying I didn't put the item there. I don't know. It just, because when it's lost, you don't know where it is.
Wait, let me understand. You had misplaced an object. Now, in your dream, you found the object?
I found the object in my dream.
And when you woke up, it was there where you had dreamt it?
Exactly, yes.
How would some of you more scientific, rational-minded people explain it? Can we explain it way how do you explain that? Can you explain that?
I couldn't explain it.
What about you and the rest of you? Have any of you ever had
It's a miracle.
a miracle? Have any of you ever had a situation whereby you dreamt something and it actually came true?
Several times. Yeah.
I mean, other than just saying yes several times, but can you give me like for dialogue purposes? Can you give me like a story? I mean something that's rated PG.
That wouldn't be.
Let's don't talk about that. Anybody have a personal experience like one had where something happened in a dream?
I haven't had usually when I dream, like, I guess a lot, or remember my dreams a lot, and it's usually something that I look to my dreams for answers and guidance. Whenever I have a question, whenever something's burdening me, then I'll usually have a dream that kind of speaks to me and tells me what to do, how to handle the situation. And a lot of times visions and things come to me in my dreams that I don't know what they're necessarily about, and I might find out what they're about later.
Do you think that your dreams are communications from a higher source, a divine source, something like that?
I know they are.
Okay. Do you make decisions in terms of that govern your waking life? You use those as guides?
I do, because for me personally, like I said, dreams have always, when I was really little, I dreamt a lot, and I've always dreamt, a lot, and got to the point, where I had control over my dreams, where I realized, that I was dreaming and, was able to wake up, stop things, those kind of things in my dreams. So I really took dreams as I got older and started to realize that, your higher self would speak to you. You could hear your subconscious thoughts, things that you already know and weren't paying any attention to in your waking life. Those answers when they would come to me in my dreams, and I would wake up the next day looking for, what did this mean? And then when I saw the meaning, I said, oh, yeah, okay.
Are you controlling this? Are you doing this by will, or is it just like, you're not really conscious of what you're doing?
That's an interesting point, and a friend of ours, Sanchia, brought it up one time when we were having meditation. She brought up the idea that the thoughts or visions that she was having, did she create them, or were they placed there? Was it a download? Was it a connection, or was it something that a thought that she was creating? And I don't know.
Dr. Gibson said, well, yeah, you are creating.
Right. He answered her and told her, right, that she was creating.
What does that mean that she's creating it? Does that take the validity away?
No, because it doesn't mean, he said that doesn't mean you're making something up, or, because you want, to get a better job tomorrow, that you're going to make up a scenario in your head or make yourself have a dream about having a better job, because you'll know the difference in something that, you created, and you just fantasizing, as opposed to something that came to you, something that you felt. And a lot of times I think with dreams, they're symbolic. And so if you have a dream most of the time about getting a job, it's not about getting a job. It's about moving forward or making changes or accepting responsibility. It's usually not about whatever it is.
We'll get into some analysis, dream analysis, and dream interpretation a little later on. Like what does it mean when you dream that you're falling? What does it mean when you dream that you see a snake, or when you dream about a woman or a man,
or flying?
Well, that's very common.
Yes, that's very common.
That's very common. We'll get into that later. Anyone else have a dreamscape that they want to share? Experience that they want to share? That you can share. Because I know some of your dreams may be, secretive. But what is that? Okay, since you kind of maybe be bashful about that, but let's go a little bit further. I like what it was said that I don't know who said it in the book, but somebody in Dr. Gibson's chapter here on dreaming, he mentioned that dreams are theater of the mind.
Right.
And I think it's really something when we think about mind movies. I think to a large extent we really do create reality out of our imagination. You know, we kind of touched on that a little bit this morning in Sunday school.
Yes.
The power of collective dreaming or collective imagination, that we actually create reality out of some part of us. You know, we think the brain, when we go to sleep, and this was so profound, when we are asleep, there are parts of the brain that become awakened. Now, in your dream, you can see, now, but your eyes are closed.
Right.
In your dream, you can feel, you can hear, and it seems real. So if your body, Florence, is unconscious, or as we say, sleep, what is it that you're seeing with if your eyes are closed? What is it that you're hearing with? What is it that you are moving with? Because your body is still. What do you think?
Maybe you're outside of your body.
Good point. But where are you? Who are you?
I don't know. When I think about that, there's a picture that Dr. Gibson had in one of his seminars. I can't remember which one it was, but it looked like it looked like a picture of a physical body, and then another body standing behind it, another body kind of standing behind it, and it makes me think of, we know it's like, you know, you have a higher self, and this is the higher self is what is kind of controlling you. Like your physical body is almost just like a shell, like a robot. You know, our brain, we make decisions, like, you know, in the physical flesh, but there is something else that is that's higher, that's within us, that is controlling us as well.
So you're saying
gives you this intuition,
this organ that we call the brain, and this, I don't know what you call it, this package or whatever that's called the mind, are not the same. The brain and the mind are not the same.
I didn't see
in other words,
that.
in other words, the brain is a physical organ, but the mind, you know, can go anywhere. I mean, think about where the mind can go, and what the mind can do, what the mind can conceive. But the brain is like,
I don't get how you're trying to.
One thing I said, the brain and the mind
I don't know.
are not the same. In other words, some people will say that the mind there is no mind. It's just the brain. It's just the brain. It's just a chemical. It's just chemical, neurological, physical organs that are just operating. Because when the brain dies, that's it of you. But apparently, even this whole idea about you actually having an experience in a dream, and your body is comatose to a certain extent. Right. So what are you touching, and what are you seeing with? What are you tasting? You can taste food in a dream.
Some people talk. I mean, they're talking in their dream.
You talk in a dream.
Right,
No
right,
question about it. But your mouth is not moving.
Right.
And it feels very real. You know, well, I guess what I'm getting at is this: you're in a different dimension. You're in a different world, and therefore, in that world that is non-physical, you are actually using another body. What we might call you in the astral plane, and you're using your dream body or your astral body. Now that is profound. Some have said, I was reading some work by a guy named Stuart Swerdlow, and he will say that you actually are in that place, and the dream is a way in which you try to make sense of being in that place. You have a dream, but you actually are astral traveling. You're in another world. You know, the point is that you're not lucid, you're not aware in a real conscious sense, but you are actually there. And you're meeting other entities in that astral place. It is said, he says that when you sleep and you are in the astral realm, now there are two aspects of that. There's a low astral plane and then there's a higher astral plane. In this astral plane, you are actually interacting with some negative entities. You are interacting with some positive entities. You know, when a person dies, there's a part of their personality that goes to that realm, and that's where they are. So you're meeting them, and you're having conversations with them, and you're having information. Just depends on who you're talking to in there. That freak you out? It doesn't? Yeah. It's a very powerful reality that you actually have not just a physical body, but you have another body that allows your mind to interact and to communicate with other entities.
Kind of the idea about the movie. I've had dreams before where I would go to sleep. Well, I mean, of course, I'd be asleep, and I may get up, wake up out the dream, go to the bathroom, come back, and press play again, and pick it up right where it left off.
I mean, you physically woke up?
Yeah, physically wake up. You know, man, I'm dreaming. You know, I might go use the bathroom. I mean, I'm woke. And I'll come back and get in the bed, and immediately, and it's almost like there's a I don't want to say you feel drugged, but I'm so sleepy that it didn't take but a second for me to go right back to sleep. And I will go back to sleep, and the dream continues where it left off at, and it's just like I'm playing the movie. It's just like playing the movie out.
Have you ever had a dream in a dream?
Yes. Yes.
Have you ever had a dream whereby you knew you were dreaming?
Yes.
And you had control?
That's the fun dreams. Yeah. Have you ever had a situation whereby you actually traveled in your dream? Yes. I mean, what that one called, you're in the astral plane, which is a replica of the earth plane. Now, one of the things I found very interesting that Swerdlow says is that in dreams you can fly, you can breathe on the water. He says you actually can do all those things in this world, but because you are trained to believe that you cannot, you do not. You do not, right? Right. I believe
man.
Yeah.
I have a fear of water. I mean, it's a big deal with me, water. And for some reason, when I'm near the water, I get this anxiety about it. But I've had dreams where I've actually went underwater. Like lately, before, it was always either I was walking over water, I was looking at the water, big bodies of water. Yeah. I never would physically walk in the water. I've always walked over the water, but I've never really just got in the water. If I did get in the water, I used to feel this anxiety about it. Now I've actually like got in the water and was swimming under the water. Or if it was like I would be on a roller coaster, and I would go down the water and I would come back up, and I don't understand it.
That brings a question to me that I hope I can get some discussion on. Do y'all think all dreams give messages, or some of them just entertain you and just for the purpose of just having fun, recreational? But do y'all think that all dreams are trying to communicate something to you from, let's say, maybe from a higher realm, like the dream you had? Do you think that's a message from the spirit world or from God or something like that?
It very well could be, but I don't know, because I used to wonder the same thing. Do all dreams mean something, or are dreams triggered by something you ate before you went to bed? Is it triggered by something that happened during the day?
Something
that was
watched.
Right. So I'm I used to wonder the same thing, and that's still like a wonder to me. To some, does this dream actually mean something? Because I could go to bed, and if I have a nightmare, usually what would snap me out of it is the fact that it's not real. But now, I wonder, was this real or did it mean anything?
I think that what everybody just said means that there's some meaning in it. The meanings may be varied. It may mean that you shouldn't have eaten anything before you go to bed. It may mean that you need to stop watching or reading certain things because they're having a subconscious effect on you.
Right.
It may mean is to me, when you have dreams about things, like as far as the food thing, it is your body letting you know, okay, this doesn't work well with us. We're not going to be able to rest. You have a bad dream. It means that your body is not resting. Because you wake up and you're tired and you feel the exhaustion that you had in that dream. And is your body trying to tell you, I had to digest all this food while you were supposed to be sleeping, so you're gonna have a nightmare, because that's how I feel.
That reminds me of this episode of the Cosby Show where Cliff ate all this junk food before he went to bed, and he had these dreams, and it was just like a crazy dream.
And they kept going.
And they just kept going and kept going. He was just having ridiculous dreams with animals from Sesame Street and all this other kind of stuff talking to him. It was just a ridiculous dream, and it was because he had eaten all this junk food before he went to bed.
So I guess that raised the question though: is it the food that you're eating that's creating the dream, or maybe it is the mind is releasing some unresolved conflict, or is it the food that's causing the dream, or is the food that's triggering the release of some subconscious, unconscious fears, like when you have a nightmare?
I think it's I think it's like we said before. It's we have these different dimensions existing all at once, and just as we're here in the physical, and you might get up and go run to the store, come back home. I mean, there may not be any huge significant meaning in you driving to the store, but you also have another body that also exists in another reality that does normal stuff as well. And maybe it means something, maybe it's not, but it's your body existing in another reality. So there will be, I think, some normal times, sometimes when you're just kind of hanging out at the house,
That's what I was about to think.
or sometimes, just these, you may have some kind of prophetic thing happen or something like that. But it's like, just like in the Bible, how would you know the difference? Because it's just like in the Bible where it says you have these different levels of heaven. Well, you have to be, it's almost like you have to have these different suits before you can go to these different levels. In the physical, this third dimension, you have a dense flesh body. When you go into the dream world, the astral plane, you have another type of body. When you go into another dimension, you have another type of body. So it's like you exist on all these different levels, And every now and then, maybe in your dreams, you get a glimpse of it. What am I doing in the astral world? What am I doing in this dimension? What is my body doing in that dimension? So maybe that's what your dreams are telling you. Maybe all of them aren't from the so-called astral plane. It may be some other dimension that you're having a dream.
How would you know the difference?
Mm-hmm. I think like with anything, you have to get to a point where you learn and know yourself well enough to realize when you're receiving a message and when something is, just a dream. For me personally, if there's something that's been weighing on my mind and I have a dream, and it can be the craziest dream, something really weird that doesn't make any sense, I look at that and think about it. And a lot of times it ends up, being something that speaks to me. And it may just be my interpretation of it, but I use that as a guide, and that's just, just me personally, and I think,
But what makes you say, okay, some part of me is trying to, a bigger part of me is trying to say something to me?
Because there will be something that usually for me it's one of those dreams where I realize I'm dreaming and I say in that dream, okay, let me watch this and pay attention to what's going on. Because a lot of times I'll have a dream and it may be that, I'm on a, like we're getting ready to go on a trip. And so I've been having dreams a lot about, our trip, about different things that I hope happen while we're on the trip, I really hope they happen because they've been good dreams, I don't necessarily see them as prophetic dreams, but like Kim said, they could be our existence, in another reality where we've already gone on this cruise and those things happened there, and yay for us, in that reality where they happen. But,
I was going to say, I think for me personally, when I pay attention to my dreams is when, say for instance, if I've had a problem or if I have a question that's really been pressing on me, and I'll ask my spiritual parent or somebody, give me a message. It's like when I consciously go to them and say, I need an answer to this, or I need to know what's going on. That's when I'm more aware than any other time of my dreams, because I'm asking for it, and I've gotten answers in my dreams like that before, so I rely on it heavily. But I will physically ask or write it down, like Dr. Gibson said, write it down on paper, put it under your pillow before you go to bed, or ask the question before you go to sleep.
That's right.
And that is when I pay attention to it, because it works for me. I've gotten answers every time I've done that. So I'm just more aware, like say for the next 3 or 4 nights, to pay attention to my dreams, because I've asked to have an answer sent to me.
For me, I think that this discussion is important. I think that many times we overlook, doubt, or whatever, the many ways in which God, our own personal angels, are trying to communicate to us. One of the things that I found that Dr. Gibson said that was very helpful for me to kind of understand this is that imagine that if you were on a swimming pool and there was somebody on the bank and you were underwater, how could you underwater communicate distress or information to them on the bank? And I believe this is the reason, this is where symbols and dreams and archetypes come into play. And therefore they're trying to communicate something. You are trying to, a bigger part of you on, as you say, on these multiple levels of dimensions, is trying to communicate some very important information. Many times it may have something to do with about you. Maybe it's some fear that you have not conquered.
Right.
Maybe some concern or question for tomorrow that you need answers to. Somehow or another, I really do believe that the spirit world makes every attempt to give you a clear message, a preparation, insight, mostly into you. So I think that this is something that we really need to learn to pay attention to, and that is these higher forms of ourselves, or these different aspects of our body. We are not just, like I said this morning, we are not just flesh and blood. We are not just a human being having a spiritual experience. We are a spiritual being having a human experience. And I really do believe that we are being communicated with.
Yes.
And I think dreams and visions are one of the ways. Matter of fact, the Bible even tells you that in the last days, young men and young women will have visions. Old men and old women will have dreams. Something that way. That one of the ways in which God communicates is through dreams. You can actually say that a lot of the prophecies or the communication that we read in the Bible is a result of some person having a dream and information, like Daniel, like Joseph, like John the Divine in the book of Revelation. They're having these dreams, and these dreams are means by which they're trying to communicate. There's a deeper part of you that's trying to communicate to the more dense part of you something about yourself.
Yeah.
Well, this was a hard chapter for me because I have a hard time remembering my dreams unless it's something that freaks me out. But I can have a dream and it will wake me up, and like one said, I go use the restroom, and depending on what the dream is, I go check throughout the house, check the doors, make sure everything is safe, make sure we're safe, and I go back to bed. And as soon as I go back to bed, I start back dreaming. But once I get back up, I can't tell you what the dream was about, unless it's just something that
how long does it take for you not to remember your dream?
The second I wake up.
Second, okay.
So this it's difficult for me, but it's depending on the dream. Like I say, I've had some very personal dreams that I've only shared with a couple of people, but I want to have like happier dreams, or even if I was dreaming about water, flying, that would be nice. But the dreams that I have are like, it's always like a scary movie to me.
Let me ask you this on that point right there. I know some of us. I know I have this Demi-Earth medallion. What does that mean? I can't see it from here, Chris.
First medallion.
The first medallion, I actually have that too. I'm wearing that too, but I wear it on my shirt. One has one. No, Shelley has one. All you have these medallions. Have you noticed in your dreams the effect that wearing these very powerful medallions have had? I know I have. I make note of that in terms of, because like I said earlier, when you go into the dream world, or when you go into the astral plane, sometimes you're moving around in the lower astral plane where there are all types of entities that you're interacting with. Some are incubus or succubus, sometimes some real very negative extraterrestrials operate in that realm. And you really have to be protected when you go into your world. So that may be something that's important, is that make sure that when you do go to sleep, you wear a protective device that protects your aura, your soul while you sleep.
And not only that, for me as well, learning certain prayers has also helped. Even if I'm not, even if I don't have them done.
Go deep into that about the prayers.
I had a dream once where I felt like someone was trying to attack me or break into my house or something like that, and I consciously remember saying the Usnisa Vijaya just over and over and over again to these people that were like coming at me, and it kind of they backed off once I started repeating that over and over. So I've noticed that, well, one, I haven't had very many bad dreams like that since I've been doing a lot of the spiritual work. But this was early on when I was first learning the Usnisa Vijaya that this happened, and I noticed that it seemed like as I was learning it, this happened, and in my dreams I said the entire prayer over and over and over again, and these entities, backed up and left out of my house, these people. So I would say not only just wearing a medallion, because sometimes I wear it in my sleep or put it under my pillow, but sometimes I forget.
Right.
But knowing those prayers and reciting them so many times, and other mantras so many times every day, also builds up some type of
a protective
shield around you as well.
Yeah.
And like you said, once they become part of your auras, they become part of your subconscious so much that you say it in your dreams even.
I think that people, that's a very good point. I think people need to be aware, we need to be aware that many times there are entities that want to steal your energy from your aura. And therefore they wait till you are vulnerable in the dream state.
Wait till you go to sleep.
Right. And they will try to...
It's kind of like the movie Inception.
How so?
How people intersect into... They can take control of you in your dreams. That's what the movie is about. Just different people that can step into your dreams and attack you.
I'm telling you, that's very real. That's a very real point, because like I said, you astral travel when you sleep. You go to that plane, and sometimes, again, the astral plane, the lower astral plane, and the earth plane. The earth plane is like an analog, or maybe the other plane is like an analog of that. They mirror each other, in other words. So I knew a fella who, listening to the miracle prayer, before he went to sleep, as he went to sleep, he astral projected, and it took him to another universe, or this universe that was way out there. And he was looking at a planet in color, 3-dimensional. That's what scared him. He had a 3-dimensional experience of seeing another planet from he was standing on the outside of it. And he woke up because it disturbed him so much. That was his first time ever listening to the miracle prayer. And he had that astral projection experience. So this is not something that you're just, like they say, making up in your head, fantasizing about. Because you have multiple bodies. Right. For every mind there's a body. And so you have a multiple state of awareness. You are a multi-dimensional being. We have to be very aware of that. I think it's important that we got to say, when we say in the Bible or the church, put on the full armor of God. You really do have to put on that armor, not just to get by little local problems that you have, in this third dimension, but even protect yourself when you go into other realms of existence. That's right.
Well, let me ask you this. What happens? I remember I had to have been about 4 or 5, and I know that was a long time ago, but that's how much it stuck with me. I remember being in my mother's bed. I fell asleep, and I was sleeping. I was asleep. I woke up, couldn't move. I wanted to move, couldn't. I remember opening my eyes, and I was really battling with trying to move. I couldn't move though. But I saw myself climb out of my mother's bed, as if I'm trying to get somebody to come and wake me up. But after a while, it seemed like I saw it come back to me, and I woke up. I remember that to this day. I was trying to get up, and it was just like I saw myself get out the bed, climb out the bed. Just
that's piggyback off that. I've had dreams where I was so, what you would call dead sleep. You feel like you can't hardly move if you wanted to,
right?
But you conscious. I may have heard a noise in the house, but I couldn't wake up out my dream to go and check on it. And I dreamed that I got up, but in reality, I didn't get up. I was not
In
lying.
reality, you did get up.
Okay, well, I did get up.
There was two realities.
Two realities operate. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I can't think of the name. Do you know the name
It's,
of that?
it's
What is
sleep
that?
paralysis, and
Okay.
it protects you. It protects your physical body because I don't know if any of you have ever, and it recently happened to me. I don't know if any of you have ever had the experience where you'll have a dream and you might bump into something or scratch something, and then you'll wake up the next day and where you did that, it hurts. It's sore. So what happens is, to protect your physical body, then your body enters a state of sleep paralysis so that you're not physically getting up doing the things that your astral body is doing. Right.
So you actually are doing astral projection.
It's out of body
You have an out of body experience.
Out of body experience.
But sometimes
You can't take
your physical body
We'll try.
to do what you're doing
Right.
in your astral
Astral
form.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so usually where those pains and things come
Right.
from is a muscle reaction.
Right.
You know,
Right.
where you trying to, you know,
Right.
where like you
Right,
said,
right.
you were
Trying to get up.
Get up.
where you were saying you were
Yeah.
trying to get up.
Right.
You know, that's
Yeah.
And so much so, I was like, I saw myself get out the bed. Like, I'm looking at.
Yeah, you are looking at your body.
Right.
Right.
Now, has that ever? I mean, anybody? I know everybody probably had that dream. Has that ever scared you? Because I guess to the point.
Scared my parents.
It is scary.
Because when I was a child, I sleepwalked a lot,
Okay.
and I would get up and go outside, get in the car, or be out there in the front lawn outside,
Okay.
and I'd be just standing there, and my mother hears something moving in the house or whatever, and she follow me, and she see me just standing outside by a tree or inside the car or whatever, basically still asleep, but moving, and therefore they used to put like Coca-Cola bottles in the house for me to hit them and wake up and
Right.
everything.
Now, in the movie, the recent remake of the movie Dark Skies that came out this year, I don't know if any of you all saw it, but it was about alien, visitation and all of that kind of thing.
Yes.
And the young boy in the movie, the youngest son in the movie they would wake up, he would be outside, just standing there. And as the movie went on, the other people in the house, they would be at work and not remember how they got home. They would, wake up and they, would be laying somewhere and they like, how did I fall asleep right here? What happened? Or be standing in a place, and it was because they were under alien influence.
Yes. That's exactly right. I know what you're trying to say.
They be under the influence.
I had a dream that I was laying across the chair, and something was after me, and I could see the eyes. I couldn't see the entire body, but I saw my mom. I told her exactly what she was doing. And I saw my stepsister, and everybody that was in the living room, and I was telling them what they was doing, and they said they could see me jerking, they could see my mouth moving, but in the dream, I was calling them to help me. And when I got up, I was crying and I was mad at every last one of them. And I was like, I called you, and you were so into that soap opera, you didn't hear me. And I was telling my sister what she was doing, telling my stepsister, and they was like, but you were asleep. I could see everything they were doing. And I was telling my mom at certain part, I can see what was happening on the show. And I can tell her at certain parts what she did. And they were just looking at me like, what?
How did you know that?
And I was upset with him. My mom said I wouldn't talk to her for the rest of the day because my heart was beating fast, and I was like, it was trying to get me, and you all wouldn't help me, and you're supposed to be my
I want to tell you
family.
something. I've had when my mother. It took a little time before I actually had a dream about her after she had passed away, but I have found myself at certain points in time, not so much now as it was then, but when I was under, really a lot of stress and everything, my mother would come to me and she would speak to me and calm me down. Now, that could have been my mother, that could not have been my mother, that could have been somebody, another protective being that took the form of my mother, somebody that I could relate to, like in immediate contact and everything. But I know that that there are other presences that actually do protect us and watch us and communicate with us. And so I do agree with Kim a lot that the use of these divine world prayers, when they really get deep in your subconscious, they are a very helpful tool when you're dealing with some type of negative force that is trying to frighten you or trying to rob you of some energy, spiritual, psychic energy. Right. And that's one of the big reasons why it's important to know it and to practice it. Because it definitely puts a shield around you. And I think also there's a high astral plane, then there's a fifth dimension above that. I think that these also help you to enter into those worlds where you can actually have conversations with high spiritual beings. And this is something that's very profound. Some meetings take place in those realms where masters get together and high spiritual adepts get together and communicate information. That's right. And every last one of you has that potential to be able to enter into that, provided that you are spiritually prepared to get in that into that dimension. But there is an aspect of you that is there. It's just you're just not activating it.
And I think, when Flo was talking about the types of dreams she wants to have, I think people need to realize that I think that you can have, control and prepare yourself just like we do spiritual work to carry us through our daily activities. I prepare myself spiritually for sleep. It's something a lot of times I look forward to.
That's a very good idea.
I look forward to my sleep. I do my prayers like Kim said, talk to my my spiritual parents, and I make sure my room is in a relaxing environment. Right. You're not supposed to have a TV in your bed.
Why? Why you not have a TV?
Simply because of the electronics,
When you turn it off, it's still going.
Because it's still plugged in.
And so simply because of that, your bedroom should be a comfortable, relaxing place. You shouldn't take your bills in your bedroom.
Wow.
There are certain documents and things that you should not take into your bedroom.
I mean, in my trash can.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Your sleep, like you said, is such a delicate thing, and sometimes an unprotected thing that you really have to be conscious of the things that you're just bringing, the kinds of energy that you're bringing into that environment. And so, when I get ready to go to sleep at night, I make sure that for at least 30 minutes I've been, that no TV has been on. I don't just fall asleep with the TV on, because then that could put something, whatever you were watching on TV or whatever you heard.
That white noise. Some entity can travel through.
That's right. All of that. So, I have my meditations playing constantly in my bedroom anyway, but I may put on the Usnisa Vajaya or the miracle prayer before I get ready to go to sleep, and have that playing in the background, say my prayers, and if there's something that I want to dream about or something that I have questions about, even if I want to have a good dream, even if I just say it's been, and I'm holding my medallion because we've gotten in the habit of praying with the Demiurge Michael medallion, but even if it's been a long day, I just need a restful night, and I just say that simple prayer and then I go to sleep, and a lot of times, like Kim said, saying the miracle prayer, before you go to sleep, and saying your prayers and asking for certain types of dreams and energies to surround you while you sleep.
I tell you, that's absolutely true. Go ahead.
That goes into the whole science of feng shui. Because like in my bedroom, for example, like I have some protective items as well, but like I have the Usnisa Vijaya or the Miracle Prayer printed out and posted over doorways or in the windows or, you know, around my bed or on the wall or something. So not only do I have, like you said, you have the prayers or whatever, your recording playing in the background all the time, you have your medallions or you have, you know, your protective items as well as visual sigils. I even have like one tacked to my ceiling. So when I wake up in the morning, I see it and I'm looking at it, you know. So that goes into that whole art of feng shui. You know, do you leave your door open? You don't want to leave your bed shouldn't be in front of an open doorway or facing an open doorway, or your shouldn't be in front of a mirror, things like that. And there's a real science behind it and reasons why you should arrange
in front of the mirror.
Yeah, you should, or certain. It's just certain things you shouldn't do, and it all has to do with the flow of energy into your bedroom.
Right. Yeah. But what I'm hearing that we should take sleep a little bit more serious.
I think so.
Instead of just saying, you know,
I'm tired.
Go to bed, kick the TV on.
I think that's a very profound point that Shelley made. Prepare for sleep.
Right. Prepare.
That's like, to a lot of sense, like prepare for when you actually leave and transition from this body. So little preparations in terms of like preparing for sleep is similar to that. That's a very good idea. I have found too that playing the new miracle prayers that we have, the old miracle prayer or the Unisa Vijaya, these types of sounds. As a matter of fact, Tybro has a CD of how to induce astral travel. And I have actually experimented with that when we used to have morning meditation on Sunday morning. I had different people who asked me, well, what tape can I use? And I would slip them the induced astral travel tape just to watch them kind of experiment to see how it affects. Yeah, I mean, I do that kind of stuff. And so, and one guy actually, he actually began to go under the influence of that. Yeah. Right. It's very powerful. When I've used it myself, you know, you actually begin to travel and you can go places and have those out-of-body experiences. And so that's very important. But anyway, the idea of how you set the surroundings and prepare for sleep is very important.
Even if, you know, the thing saying, you know, we always hear people say, don't go to bed angry. You know,
that's true.
That's an important thing. And if you're, I mean, whether the person you're angry with is in the house or whether you just had a bad day, you know, you just like you go and shower and get the dirt off of you from the day, you need to, you know, take some time and, like I said, meditate, find some quiet before you go to sleep and try to clear that stuff out of your mind. Because if you go to sleep on it, then, you know, that's the kind of stuff that haunts you.
But what does it mean if you can't remember your dreams? What is it?
Well, it just means that you're not fully being conscious to all aspects of yourself. Now, one of the things that I do appreciate that Dr. Gibson put in this chapter on your dreams was the things to do to help you to remember. And I think it's important that number one, before you go to sleep, say, I want to remember my dream. Give yourself the suggestion. Give yourself a command to remember your dream. Second thing is that when you do go to sleep with a notepad next to you. And when you wake up, sit there and try to collect and remember your dream. What do you say? About what? How many minutes? About 8 minutes or whatever?
Oh, you know, just a few minutes.
Just a few minutes or whatever. And then remember them. And then write them down. Write down what you can recall. I don't care how little or how much, write it down. You know, go ahead.
What if you dream like all night? I mean, this time I went to bed at like 10 o'clock, And I wake up at 12:30 and I didn't see me. I didn't drink that. I mean, I'm like, whoa, man! I still got my work cut out for me because it's 12:30 and I'm like, I'm gonna dream the rest of the night. It's just one of them nights. Or if it's
What
3
does that
o'clock,
mean?
I guess.
There's a lot on your mind.
Or if it's 2:30 or 3 o'clock. And you sleepy, I mean, I guess you just got to get up and write it down. I guess you write in because if you wait till 6 or 7,
Oh, it's gone.
it's gone. You see what I'm saying?
Unless it's something that's really that impressed you,
Right.
it will leave you. You have what is called a dream sensor
Right.
that erases that off the surface of your mind. It's there. It's still recorded. It's in some file somewhere,
Right.
but you just don't have access to it as easy as you when you first wake up. And therefore write that insight down. Sometimes it's just an insight.
It's an insight.
It's a revelation. It's revelatory.
Yes.
And write it down. I tell you the truth. For the most part, when I use the word channel or download, just like something that I have been practicing for a while. As you know, I preach on Sunday mornings. And so, but that Saturday afternoon, and particularly sometimes the words and the thought is just not coming.
Right.
So my practice is to go to sleep. To go to sleep. I'll do whatever studying I have to do, but I can't actually get a flow of thought when I type. I just go to sleep. I stop. I go to sleep, and I may wake up at 3, may wake up at 4, may wake up at 5. Like today, last night, it was 5 o'clock. In the sermon you heard today, I sit there at the computer and put my hands on the keyboard, and then it flows, and it goes from the introduction all the way through. And sometimes I get stuck in the middle of it. I'll stop, go do something else, and then a thought comes that I get right back on, and it thought until it's over. Now I say that to you because I have discovered through working with Words of Power that other people who just like Thomas Edison and Sigmund Freud, and these other people, Madam C.J. Walker and others, who got a channel or got a download from the spirit world about something, people practice that. They actually go into other realms, and this is where those entities or those figures that you see like in Star Wars, or this is where they see those figures,
Right.
and they bring that to the silver screen, to the big screen.
Yes.
And there are, to be honest with you, there are words of power that can allow you to go into that realm and get what you want, music that you want. I mean, like if you're a musician, there are songs there, there are books there, there are inventions there, and you go there and you can bring it here. You can bring it into this dimension, and it becomes hits. That's what's so profound about that chapter for me.
Those words of power too are really big, have really influenced my dreams as well.
Absolutely.
And solarizing those words or just using a word every day, it really, really has affected my dreams. Like you say, when you use certain ones to ask for a specific answer or anything, it comes to you.
Now I said that what I was going to do is use this dream dictionary and try to give you some interpretations of what a particular dream that you had, what the symbolism indicates that you're going through. So let me start with you, Christy. Since you had a dream about water, okay. It says here, now it's more deeper. This is a very shallow thing, but it's very good. I found it to be very helpful when I talk to people about their dreams. So when you dream of water or any natural body, the sea or ocean, it is symbolic of life itself. So you're having a dream about something about, I guess it would be your life itself, or life itself. Yeah. Anybody else
What? Okay.
know something about it? If you, I just throw something out to your mind.
You said
Triggers
life
up.
itself.
About life. Water, because life comes out of water.
Right.
Huh?
Life, all life comes out of water.
Yeah.
Out of the great waters of noon,
Right.
the cosmic ocean.
So it would then be the details, the other
Of your
details in the dream that would,
How did you relate to the
how you
water?
relate to the water.
You know, not even that, just that or whatever. But like you said, the fact that you on a roller coaster going
you
in
went
and coming out,
underwater.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
So you face some, I mean, because being underwater for you is like something that's
It's being
fearful of.
submerged.
Therefore, you were submerged into life, or you were submerged into a fear about life. So you were conquering a fear, or something was telling you to overcome a fear.
Yeah, that's
Go
how I've been
into
feeling.
it.
Yeah. That I need to conquer it and get over it.
Right.
You know.
See, and this is something that people need to understand, that there is a need to be able to interpret your dream. And you have to be the number one interpreter of your dream, because actually it is more about you than it is by anybody else. Everybody in your dream, actually, to a large extent, to some extent, is an aspect of yourself.
Right.
Okay. Okay, sometimes people have a dream that they are naked. You ever had a naked dream? You're in public naked.
Yeah, man.
And so, you have a dream that you're naked. And so,
What was I doing?
okay, this is what it is.
What did it?
Just like this morning in the service, as you say you're clothed, but you're really naked.
Right.
Okay, what that means is, I use the word vulnerability. Well, that's what nakedness means.
Right.
Symbolic, exposing the truth about yourself to others,
Right.
and you're vulnerable. You're a sense of vulnerability.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Let's see what else.
I haven't had them all.
Yeah. Okay. Let's say you had a dream about a mother figure or your mother. That's when you're dreaming about your life in the earth plane. Okay. Anybody else while I got this open, you want to look at something?
Flying.
Okay, flying. Okay. Let's see what flying is about. Okay, flying signifies raising a level of understanding.
Okay. Raising a level of understanding.
I've had a lot of those.
Me too.
Yeah, where you're raising your level of understanding.
Okay. Yes.
and then again, like you said, another common dream is falling. People falling.
Okay, falling. Okay, let me see.
You
what I
never
got.
did about
Right, falling.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't have falling. It's not falling. It's not in here. Fainting is not facing what is in front of you in your life. Okay. Kissing. Anybody had a dream where you kiss somebody? Okay.
Yeah, and the dream meant that you were kissing that person.
All right. What it means, what Swirlo says is a preliminary merger to open DNA sequences with whom?
What?
So
Mergers are open,
Yeah, either you're swapping. I mean, you're exchanging. Exchanging DNA. Therefore, y'all are merging together.
Okay.
You're merging together.
Yeah.
What about with different types of animals?
That's a good one. Okay, a cat. Okay, a cat. When you dream about a cat, is a indication of a secret
Okay.
or some form of deception. Okay, you said a dog. Let's see if we got a dog in here. Yeah. A dog is a symbol. You dream of a dog. Need to reverse your spiritual concepts.
Turn him into God. And turn him back around.
Okay. All right.
DOG spelled back.
All right. Anyway, that's just some snakes. A snake. Okay, that's in here. A snake. That's about the S and the N, right? Okay. Snakes. Underhanded activity. Deception. Sneakiness. Yeah.
What about lizard?
I don't know. That may be a symbol of wisdom as well.
Right. What about a lizard? Is that a lizard? Some lizard in there.
It's like a reptile.
Yes, a lizard, a reptile's in here. Basic survival instincts coming forward. Okay. But then again, a snake is a lizard. A snake is a reptile. Okay. But But yeah, that's just
his
something.
interpretation.
That's just his interpretation. But it's interesting to play. But the biggest thing is to pay attention to your dreams in detail, write them down, and then begin to think about it. Oftentimes, you will have a sense because it's you communicating with you.
Right.
So learning to pay attention to yourself and to your consciousness. I was listening somewhat to the News for the Soul this past Wednesday when Dr. Gibson was talking to Shelley and to Kim, more so Kim, and he kept telling her to, you know the answer. What is it that you're thinking? And I took it from that as I was listening to the exchange that he was trying to get her to trust your own instinct. Let it come forth. Don't be afraid of saying or being wrong or whatever, but learn to really pay attention to your gut feeling about something, about an interpretation. In other words, the more comfortable you get with your first impressions, these intuitive hits, the better you'll become at understanding what your soul is saying to yourself. So I think that's very important. This really is a very profound and deep conversation that really requires a lot of more research. And so I hope you all got something out of it. I hope those of you who are listening to this discussion got a lot out of it. Go back and pick up insight number 7 and read about it and listen to this again and become very astute in paying attention to your soul as it speaks to yourself. And I think that you'll begin to hear the deep things of God that's trying to communicate with you through your dream life. Well, we'll pick it up again next week, and next week we're going to do insights number 8 and 9. And we look forward to spending time with you with the GBC Book Club. Everybody say goodbye to everybody.
Bye.
Okay.